in the morning 4 years ago. We're half awake, right? And every time I've worked with her since, I go, Hagit, how do you manage to get better every single time I see you? And turning something as hard as metal and making it as though you feel as though you would pick this up and stretch it out like taffy, like it has such movement to it. And these become these statement pieces that you wouldn't bat an eye seeing over $1,000 price tag if you saw these in designer department stores. You wouldn't bat an eye doubting the price, but you probably also wouldn't bother trying it on because of the price tag. Take a look at this 30 grams of sterling silver. It's called the ribbons bracelet. The one and only time we ever brought this to you, it's sold out in just a few minutes. It is back. It is the same price for all sizes, small, average, and large. But what we did not have last time, that we have this time, is 5 easy monthly payments of $45.95. What looks like a very rigid cuff actually has one of the most remarkable engineered findings and closures I've ever seen that makes it so wearable and comfortable but also secure at the same time. But at its start, it's all about this. These waves, these ribbons of sterling silver, high polished, which means they just come to life on the wrist.
They're amazing and they have so much dimension into them. It's really like and you know, I always connect to my childhood stories, like the ribbons that you fly in the air and they leave
ribbon dancing.
The mark in the eye, and they go under and on top of each other. It's such a beautiful lace. But not as delicate as lace. It has dimension to it, and the open areas are very important there. They make the movement. They actually emphasize the movement.
Have to show this.
This is brilliant.
This is a strong magnet closure. In fact, I always recommend to kind of crack it open like an egg rather than pulling it apart, because if you pull, you'll be pulling for a long, long time. Crack it open. That's how you'll open it up, but it also has this security chain, so even that can't open up too wide. And you'll see how we have these two panels that are hinged on either side of this cuff so that it all comes together to make this perfectly, like, you know, all the way around the wrist with just a little bit of dangle in the chain there, so you know it's never going anywhere and it's not going to turn.
And which I love. I actually like the dangling.
I do.
Part.
Sexy.
Yes, it is. And so much brightness comes out of it. And there's dimension to it. It's not a flat thing.
Look at that.
It's casted silver. And all those undulations. You taught me that word.
Oh, did I?
Yes. You know,
it's one of my favorites. It's a 50-point word. Yeah. Undulations.
I love it. Because you can hear from the word, you can hear what it is.
Waves, right?
Exactly.
Oh, really? Uh-oh. Okay, so well, then let's go ahead and recap everybody, Kevin. So in the small, did you say we had 5 dozen? And in the large, there were fewer than 100? Oh, there's 6 dozen at this point. And in general, at home, you would order as though you're ordering a 6 3/4, a 7 1/4, and an 8-inch. It's always tricky to tell on me because I'm a 6 1/2-inch wrist and everything looks larger on that, but I want you to typically go with what you usually do because you want to have a little bit of movement and play in there. And a cuff is tricky for me sometimes because if it's open back here and it turns on the wrist, it's so frustrating sometimes. But this is beautiful from every single angle.
Exactly.
And it looks like it's lit from within.
And it has softness to it. It has the shape of the cuff, and then those panels, they bring it so much softness.
Yes.
And it will never fall. It will always drape beautifully on your wrist. And beautiful
it's just silver. Like, it's amazing how you've taken one ingredient only, sterling silver. A lot of designers I know feel prompted immediately to throw in gemstones and different colors of metal. And while I don't dislike that, I think it's the true hallmark of a good artist to be able to take one thing only and make it every bit as striking as though it had 50 carats of gemstones inside of it. And that's what you've done here.
Thank you.
Yes. So on 5 easy pays of $45.95, reminder for you that we didn't have many of these the first time we brought them into you. It was kind of like one of those, let's see what everybody thinks. And we didn't get to present it for just a few minutes before it completely sold out in its debut. And it did not have 5 easy pays back then. It does this time. So while, and I say this often, Hagit, anytime something's over $100, that's an investment, right? Especially in jewelry because it's that treat yourself. So what we do is we put it on Easy Pay so that you can get it home and try it out. I always say that first easy payment buys you a month. And put this on the wrist. Feel the comfort of it. I will tell you that when you get it home, it's going to look even more beautiful in real life, in real light.
The dimension on the wrist, and you can see that it's slightly concaved,
right.
So it's not flat.
And yet it hugs the wrist at the same time.
Oh yeah,
so
it's built for the wrist. You know how I make my bangles, my cuffs, my rings? To the body, not to any kind of device that is technical.
Right. It doesn't have to fit this. It's supposed to fit this.
Exactly. This and this.
Mm-hmm. 4 dozen remaining now in the small. We are off to the races. It's happening yet again. And Hagit's giving you another look at that closure there too, because I think,
love that movement.
I mean, it wears as comfortably as a tennis bracelet, right?
Exactly. And you know what? You don't have to do it.
No, it will find itself.
Here. See, I didn't even had it. You put it on,
so
and
strong.
you say, "Sesame."
Open
Close.
sesame. Yeah.
That's it. It does itself.
I really wish every bracelet were like this. I mean, there's nothing more frustrating than, can you help me? Can you help me put this bracelet on? If you're by yourself, then you're completely out of luck. So it's that little thing that's a big thing. Mm-hmm. This, I think, you could argue that this is one of those flagship pieces, one of the hallmark pieces of Hagit's line. And we're so grateful to have it back. But at least in our bookend sizes, the small and the large, they're going very quickly, and we're starting to get limited. So do keep that in mind. Price is the same across the board, and you have 30 days to try this out. If you don't absolutely love it, then please send it back. So we're not 100% sure that we will have time for a full presentation. Was this on earlier in the morning, Hagit? Did you have this morning?
Yes.
I thought